Hello, hello, hello. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Come in, come in, come in. So, you guys, this is Our Kind of People, okay? Finally, we are at the season finale. I really hope this show gets a season 2. I enjoyed the show. It just was too many daggone breaks in between. We probably would have been had the season finished, but nonetheless, the name of this season was Kissing Up to God, and this is season 1, episode 12, and it was good, y'all. I enjoyed it. All right, I was here for it, and the way that it ended, I definitely need a season 2. Okay, like yesterday, I need season 2. Give it to me. Okay, so we started out with Aunt Piggy. She's basically bringing Nikki over to the couch. She got her hands over her face, telling her not to look, and they surprise her with this new line called Nikki's Halo, and she says, your name is precious, it's sweet like an angel. Basically, Angela's talking to her. She's like, wow, I can't believe you did this. And she was like, I know we're moving and we got everything we packed up, but you accomplished so much this summer. I wanted you to know I'm proud of you, and I wanted you to know I love you. And I was like, oh, that's so sweet. So Nikki's saying to her, I love you too and I thank you. But she was like, you the one that opened all the doors for me. I'm a debutante. I'm in love. She feeling all good. And I feel kind of bad for Nikki because she don't know about damn trash ass Taylor yet. Okay, y'all? And so anyway, they saying they had a good summer and a big summer, and that she opened up Eve's crown, and she did the right thing by her mother. This is what Aunt Piggy is saying to her. She said, you didn't get the deal, but you really got so much more, and so she definitely was like, this is not a loss at all. And so Nikki grabs the bottles and she's like, I'm gonna go ahead and post all these up. So she was like, Angela is saying to Aunt Piggy, even though I'm very proud, I still feel like I let my mother down, like it's more I could be doing, like I should have went to Teddy and all this different kind of stuff. And she was like, look, you already did what you needed to do. You don't need to do anything else. You could take Eve, crown to the next level. And she was like, if your father finds out you still poking around, then baby, he gonna come in and you could end up leaving without nothing. And so she was like, well, mama's watching over me. I know that, and I know she not gonna let nothing bad happen to me. She says, it's still a grand illumination ball, and it's still an event that Nikki has to go to. So she says she gives herself 2 days to find out some stuff, and then she will leave the island for good. I'm like, girl, Angela, whatever, because Angela always want to, she's sticking to it when it comes to her mom, and I can't say I'm mad at her for that. And so then we have, Tariq basically telling Teddy that he is going to have, Tariq was telling Teddy he's going to have the plans to give to him by the end of the week. And then the next thing we see sexy Morris Chestnut, okay, coming out in his towel, and he's saying to Leah, like, damn, you ain't even paying me no attention. Normally, if I would have came, standing in the door of my towel, you would have had something to say. And she starts laughing, but she says, she's just still caught up in, grieving about her mom. And she was like, Angela said to her one time that they was 2 sides of the same coin, but she never realized that she was the coin pointing down in the gutter. And he was telling her, stop it, that she's being too hard on herself, give herself some grace or whatever. And then he tells her about, when you drop something on the floor and you pick it up and you kiss it up to God. And he was basically saying that that's what they need to do, as far as themselves and as far as their family or whatever have you. And so then he gives her a kiss, and, I guess he was going ahead to head downstairs. So in the middle of, like I said, Tariq telling him he'll have the plans by the end of the week and he'll forward it to him, Raymond comes walking in. And so he's like, Teddy's asking Raymond, like, how's Leah doing this morning? He was like, she's still grieving and feeling guilty that you basically running her sister off, or whatever the case may be. The same sister that came to the funeral and was and supporting her. And then Tariq is looking at him. So then he gonna talk about, well, I'm holding a press conference today for me and Leah that I'm sure is gonna, lift her spirits. And he was, Tariq basically tells him congratulations. And so he was like, we're also announcing that we're permanently acquired, Darman or whatever. And then Raymond is like, are you see now, Teddy? And he was like, yeah. Teddy's talking about, no, I hired a private investigator. He let me know that Jack's accident and death could possibly be more, and that Jack had gave the key to his, daughter or whatever, Leah. And so now it's like he want to hold that over her head, talking about, oh, she had to go get, love in the arms of another man, so you are unfit. And back to that, first of all, she didn't even go to get no damn love in another man's arms, Teddy. But anyway, Raymond was like, you got a damn nerve, the pot calling the kettle black. He was like, this the same man that cheated on his wife, put her out in a damn psych ward facility, whatever the case, whatever, he had her in a home. And basically had an illegitimate child. And he gonna talk about something. Yeah, I say, Teddy is pure trash. He really is. And so, he's basically letting him know. And plus, they saw you leaving, so he was like, now the cops don't know about that, or whatever the case may be. So I guess he feels like he can hold over his head, the thing of the thing of Leah being there. And also hold over his head that he supposedly was seen leaving there too. I was like, man, listen, just throw Teddy in the damn trash can, okay? So then we get, Nikki basically laying up. No, I'm sorry. We get Nikki, Taylor, and Lauren out on the beach, right? And they're just all, she's talking about, Lauren is saying to them, thank you for holding me down, after what happened with my grandmother. And Nikki is letting her know, like, I've been through this, losing, my grandmother was hard, but I know she's in heaven, and I know she's my guardian angel. And she was like, I just feel like, now I have you, Nate, Taylor, everything is different. And of course, Taylor looking at Nikki, and she was like, I'm sure whatever, your grandma Rose is, that she's looking out for you too. And so Lauren is like, I like that. And she was like, well, since I only got a couple days left here, let me go ahead and wiggle my toes in the sand, okay? And she goes off running. And so Taylor's like, I can't keep acting like everything is cool. And then Lauren is talking about, well, I just feel like it's too soon. She deserves the summer and all this other stuff. And I have to say, I agree with Taylor. I feel like you need to just get this out in the open and tell the truth. You lying, and then y'all relationship has gotten better and y'all have gotten closer. All this could possibly do is end up messing it up, So I'm just like, tell the truth, girl. So then we got Angela, come over to where Leah is at. And Leah's just apologizing to her and also thanking her for being there for her. And Angela's basically like, there's no, other place that I would want to be. But she tells her she wants to talk to her too. And then Angela's like, okay, but come on, give me a minute. So Angela starts talking to all of the people there, saying that, this is emergency meeting at Grassity's. And she's like, listen, as far as the whole vote thing that went down, with Angela, there's been a big mistake. And she was like, I really need to speak to y'all about this. So Olivia cuts her off before she could even finish. And she's like, well, first of all, in order for you to even revisit this vote, you need the senior member chapter, and member of the chapter, the senior member. And she's like, I'm the senior member, So she basically starts coming at Leah like, we getting tired of you. You've been getting out of hand. You've been doing things that you're not supposed to do as a president, and certain stuff that we supposed to go by, certain guidelines that we have. She was like, me and some of the other women have been talking about you, and we not liking what we seeing, and we might have to make some changes around here, whatever the case may be. And Leah starts going off. She wasn't trying to hear what she had to say, okay? She basically was like getting ready to get in her behind, and Angela was basically holding her back and telling her, don't even do it, it's not worth it. She was like, right now your grief is really what's talking. So you should wait till you calm down before, you continue to go ahead with this, or whatever the case may be. And Leah was like, man, I'm getting damn sick of her, right? She's just an old, evil ass fool. And I'm like, I know that's right, because she is, now she's starting to see her for more of, who she is. And then she was even telling her, like, oh, this was, your mother's thing and part of the rules she made too. And so at that point, Leah had told her keep her mother's name in her mouth, and she was like, she's an old spiteful bitch. So that just tickled me. I was glad she was giving it to Olivia though, because I'm tired of her ass. And so then Tariq and Angela are basically sitting, I think Aunt Piggy and Nate was there too or whatever, and they're talking about, getting down to finding out the truth about what Teddy did and where that gun come from, whether it could be possibly related and connected to her mother. And then remember, Tariq still have questions that he want answered about his dad, so he's saying he could go ahead and look into it further. And Nate is basically like, well, he's worried about Angela. He doesn't want it affecting her. And he was like, I'm glad that I'm going to be getting out of getting them out of here, and that we going to be getting ready to leave soon, because he doesn't want, anything coming back on her. And really, he doesn't want her to continue on with this. If you remember last episode, he was telling her that she needs to let it go and that she shouldn't be holding on, to revenge and stuff like that. And then we had Nikki and Taylor walking on the beach, and, Taylor basically says to Nikki, like, can we talk? And as soon as she says that, Nikki is like, we breaking up? And then she's like, we are breaking up. And then, of course, she's upset. She's like, why? And Taylor's like, well, it's the end of the summer. She was like, it's the end of the summer. She's telling her, oh, you're going back to Boston. And she was like, well, we could do long distance. I want to make this work. I love you, and this is probably the second or third time that she said I love you to Taylor, and she don't say nothing back to her. She was like, you don't love me, and she was like, oh wow, you don't even say it. And she was like, so it was just a summer thing? It was something because you was bored and you needed something to make it interesting? She was like, oh no, it's not like that. She was like, well, Taylor, tell me what it's like. She was like, are you serious? So I felt bad a little bit for Nikki in that point. I mean, when you think about it, they still all young, and really, Nikki really shouldn't have messed with her to begin with, because that was already somebody that was with your cousin. And just me personally, I wouldn't want nobody that was with my cousin, my friend, anything of that nature. But it is what it is. They got it started, and, noticed that she still didn't tell her the truth, and she still didn't let her know that her and Lauren was back together, or spending time together or anything like that. So of course, it's still that to basically deal with and have that come out as well. And so, we have Nate basically bring Angela to this beautiful spot, and he have like, and I guess it was in the backyard or whatever, but he had like the table set up. He had some kind of spaghetti made, his lights all over the trees. He got this prompter up that's showing this movie. And there's a video of her when she first was starting out and talking about what she wanted her hair care to be, and talking about building up a business and all of that kind of stuff. Is some wine there that she basically says like, damn, where you found, this wine at? What the heck is going on? This is the wine that we first had, years ago. And so he ends up telling her, like, yes, this is what I wanted to do years ago, but I never got a chance to do it. You're the woman that I want to spend the rest of my life with. I want to be there, with Nikki and have this family and all that good stuff. And in the middle of him doing the damn proposal, here comes Tariq walking in. I said, damn. And Nate says, do you mind? And Tariq was basically like, as a matter of fact, I do. I was like, woo! I don't know why, but I like that. He wasn't backing down, baby. He was like, I'm going to let you know I'm here. And, he was like, plus I got more important stuff to talk to you about. I need to tell you this news about your mom. And so, because he was all deep into it, like, oh, this is a second chance, and this is a chance for us to be together and be a family. And I had a feeling Nate was going to still want her. I can't say I'm really shocked by it, but at the same time, it's like, y'all haven't been around each other for all these years, and are you really marrying her because you fell in love with her and you feel like, it's for y'all to be together? Or are you marrying her just because you feel like that's the way for you to be with Nikki? That would be my only concern with that. But nonetheless, he tells her do her thing. He gets up and walks away. Of course, she feeling all crazy. She like, oh my God, he just asked me to marry him and I didn't even answer him. And then, she's like, he's just offering, me a life. And she said, I know that Nikki would love this and she would thrive with it. And then she catches herself because she like, oh my goodness, I shouldn't even be talking to you like this, because she's saying all of this to Tariq. She was like, I'm just so used to confiding in you. And you've always been there for me. You taught me how to float. So she was like, that's the only reason that I even been able to make it through all of this. And he was like, well, whatever you want to do, I respect it. He was like, but I just want you to find out about the truth about Teddy and your mother. He was like, you right. He was like, my pops is actually the one that purchased the gun. I was able to get Lewis' autopsy report, and the bullet matches the gun that they had. So I'm like, oh God. So now they call saying, well, Teddy may have actually killed his brother. And they was like, maybe Mama Eve was a witness, like, and maybe that's why he was trying to set her up, and they just trying to still, piece piece together the pieces, and they're saying that this happened between 10 and 11:30 when the illumination ball was going on. So they was like, if he could find out whether Teddy left at any time or if he missed the ball, then they would know, exactly what was going on. And she said she would try to get the grace of these photos from Leah, so that they could look over it and, try to see what they could find from that side. So he was like, I can't tell you what to do, and of course I'm biased, but my vote is for you to stay. And, basically he just let her know that, and he left. And I was like, oh Lord, Angela girl, okay, you was in a pickle here. But nonetheless, we then have Lauren and Taylor in bed talking. Lauren is still basically saying she not ready to tell her. She still want to continue with the lies. And then Taylor tells her she likes, this bracelet that she have on. And she's like, thank you. She was like, well, you might just have the same one or whatever the case may be. And when she goes and opens, the box that the bracelet should be in, is nothing there. And she's blaming it on, Quincy's girlfriend or whatever that he been messing around with Sloan. She's like, somebody's been, jacking stuff from my room for a minute now. And I know who it is. And I don't know whether, it's really Sloan that's doing it or not. Maybe it is. But I just feel like Lauren be doing the most. And I don't really trust her too much either. So, I guess we'll find out if it's ever another season, I guess. And so, Quincy and Sloan basically ends up getting caught by her grandmother. She like, I knew y'all was, sneaking behind my back. I had a feeling. But Lauren confirmed it. So now Lauren done took it upon herself to go and, out Sloan to her grandmother, whatever the case may be, just to separate them from each other. And like I said, I'm just still questioning whether she really took it or not, because we haven't seen no signs of it so far, besides the fact that, that Lauren is saying this. And so then we had Angela and Leah getting together to, put these pictures together. And of course, Leah's actually excited and happy about it. She's basically like, feeling good because all she's been doing is sitting here grieving about her mom. And in the mix of her getting the pictures together, Leah asked about, whether there's any pictures of Leah and her mom together. And then he comes in, Mr. Teddy, and tells her he wanted to say goodbye and say that he was sorry with his damn fake behind, that it had came to this or whatever the case may be. And that leads Angela to getting upset, and her then, telling Leah all the facts that they've gathered so far, all the information that Tariq has brought to her and the envelope that she has. And she's like, no, you're wrong. That's not right. She was like, all he was trying to do was protect his family. He would never do anything to hurt, my uncle. You don't know what you're talking about. My uncle was shot by a drug dealer. And she was like, no, that's the story that Teddy told you. She was like, no, he loved his brother. He's naming a damn stadium after his brother. She was like, and then, I'm sorry, y'all, get stuck on their name sometime. And Angela tells her, I have the gun. And she was like, he hid behind your mother's mental break. And, look, I have evidence. He left the ball that night. And so, Leah's basically like, stop. At this point, they scared of the truth. They don't want the truth to come out. They're not fighting as hard as Angela is to have that truth come out. She was like, Leah saying to her, I can't lose both of mine in 1 week. And Angela saying, I've already lost both of mine. She was like, you're always going to choose Teddy. I'm always going to choose my mother. So if that's the case, we're not going to get anywhere. And she was like, I don't see how we could be sisters. And so now she goes and she leaves, after they just was starting to come back together. But I mean, Angela, you got to be a little bit more, understanding to a certain point too, of the fact that this is all that, Leah has ever known, and you are hitting her with a lot at one time, and she hasn't been in the place that you've been in for as long as you've been in. So I just, but I get it, because Teddy is trash. And so nonetheless, she's written and telling Tariq all about it, and then he's telling her, as they're walking on this beach, that he always wanted to build this house on this beach, and that, for some reason he would get stuck on how it was going to look or where it was going to be, because it always felt like it was something that was missing. And of course, the missing thing is her. Okay, what else is gonna be? And so when you look, he all of a sudden have her, standing here. And he's like, when you hold me, my chest gets tight. I can't breathe. When you look at me, you make me feel this way and that way. And he's like, I know you got Nate back in your life, and y'all have this history, and y'all have this daughter, and I don't want to get in between that. But he was like, Nate is your past as far as I'm concerned. Okay, I'm your present. And when he like clicks something in his hand, the whole area lights up. My boy got roses, red and white, all going around. And I'm like, woo, okay, Tyreek, I see you. And, he basically gets down on his knee and he proposes to her too. And I'm like, well, damn, girl, you got 2 proposals. And I can't even get one damn date. Okay, what is going on here, girl? I ain't mad at it, though. Get it, girl. And so what is she going to do, y'all? Who the hell is she going to say yes to? Of course, she's stuck and she like, And, tears start coming down and she's like, I just need a moment to think. And he was like, I know I'm throwing, a lot at you right now. And he was really understanding, considering it. He was like, I'll see you at the ball. I'm like, okay, I hear that hot shit. And so, he goes walking away and then she's just looking. And I was like, damn, okay. So anyway, we have, Angela, Piggy, and Nikki actually come to the party. They looking beautiful. That's one thing that I do enjoy about this show is the outfits they wear and how the hair and everything, be looking, and they be killing it. I ain't gonna lie. Everybody was looking pretty in their dresses. And so as they was walking in, Nikki apologizes to Taylor, and Quincy is in the background arguing with Lauren, saying how, you purposely went and told this girl's grandmother, Sloane's grandmother, that me and her, was messing around or whatever the case may be. But you ain't tell Nikki how you been messing around with Taylor the whole damn time. And so, of course, he turns and sees something. He's like, oh, I'm so sorry. I didn't even realize that you was there and you heard that. And so Nikki tells them, like, you know what? All of y'all are full of crap. Y'all all like to live in lies. None of y'all don't tell the truth. She was like, why couldn't you just tell me? She was like, it's just so deep down in y'all souls. It's in y'all blood. And she was like, this is running through your veins or whatever. And she was like, I wish I didn't have any of it running in my veins. I was like, ooh, I know that's right. And she goes walking off. And then, Quincy says maybe she's right. And then he was like, maybe it is in our blood. And then he, Lauren goes and she bumping his shoulder and then he walks away. And so, Angela was like, well, damn, now they lying. I mean, rather Leah was like to Raymond, now they lying to each other. And he was like, listen, this got to stop. This is all your father's influence. He was like, despite everything we taught our kids, they still playing chess and they still, have the things that he taught them drilled in their heads. And so finally, Leah's actually like, maybe you're right. This dysfunction got to stop. There's only one way to be my father. And we going to have to take everything away from him, his legacy and everything. And I hope it's not too late to kiss our whole family up to God. So I'm like, okay, Leah, let's see what you're going to do, girl. So, you got the people gathering and, the party still going on. And Teddy walking up and smiling. And then Leah comes up. And she's giving, starting to give a speech, and it's, basically the Grand Illumination Ball, and she says that they got this original, gift or whatever the case may be that comes from all the way back in 1984 from his mother, and she was like, her mom loved the ball and everything that it representative, and all of that different kind of stuff. And she was like, the rose was the God, the light, the God, the path for the women and all of that. And so she was like, so the group is going to present this special gift from the night when she first was inducted. And they go ahead and pass it up to her, to repass it to her. And then she's like, to her husband, Teddy Franklin. So he all, like if he's getting emotional about it or whatever the case may be. And when they pass it to him, it's the gun. And he did a Florida Evans damn move there. And she was like, not no more, Daddy. This over with. And so, now he done gone running off and walking away. He actually sees the dead brother again with the hole in his head like he did in the episode where he had, the heart attack and had to have the surgery and all of that. And he's going to run, back in the back room. And literally everybody follows him and confronts him. And I love the fact that they was like, no, we all gonna, look our demons in the face today. No more running away. And so Leah's like, Daddy, we need answers. Come on. The night of the Illumination Ball, 1984. What happened? What do you know? And he's telling her to leave it alone. And she's like, nah, it's no more leaving it alone. And so, Angela starts saying, well, let's start it out. That's the gun right there. You follow Darius. And according to Darius, Rose knew about my mother and all this stuff. And then, Tariq is like, Teddy, don't lie. And Raymond is like, and at the time of his death, you was there and all of that. And so he was like, wasn't he unhappy about your business dealings? And so Lauren is at the same time like, granddaddy, and everybody's just looking at him. And he took him like he having a panic attack or whatever. And then finally he says, I loved Eve deeply, And he was like, we were supposed to meet together that night. We were supposed to run away. And before she could get there, Lewis showed up. And we argued about this new business dealings or whatever the case may be. And he was like, while we was at each other's throats, I hadn't noticed that Rose had followed me there. And he said, she was so upset and she was manic. And so he said, and very angry. And he said she wanted to shoot me and she pulled the trigger. And basically his brother jumped in front of it to protect him, And he said, it was his life for mine. And he said that tore him up and he was never the same again. Rose was never the same again and neither was he. And so, of course, after that, he felt, so he say, shame and guilt and all this different stuff. And he could not, still leave with Angela's mom. That just basically changed everything after that happened. And so he said, Angela, I'm sorry I wasn't there for your mom. I did what I could, but I did not set her up. He was like, that was my biggest mistake in life. That I stayed with the right woman at the wrong time. And he was like, I chose Eve. And Rose paid the price for my choice. And so, they all just was basically standing there looking at him as he's saying that or whatever have you. And he was like, I stayed to help Rose and I stayed to be there with you, basically telling Leah that. And he said, I let go, of my life with Eve. And so, everybody's just kind of standing around. But, Angela still wants to know, like, who set my mom up then? And he was like, I don't know. I don't believe Teddy with that. But he's claiming he don't know. And he was like, it's always been a mystery to him or whatever. And they were like, well, Leah said, well, what were you fighting with your brother about in the first place? Was it about, trying to get Teddy Franklin on the map and the deal was dirty? Was you doing dirty dealings, to the underprivileged and undervalued people, poor black people, like what you basically been doing now? Is that what he confronted you about? And so then he was like, Raymond said, all summer you've been trying to set me up and have my legacy fail. But here you are having all this behavior, going on with you. And so she was like, your arrogance kills me. Basically Leah starts telling him that. And it's a bad example for the kids. It affects them. And so she was like, I want you out of the house and I want you out of Franklin Holdings tonight. That's the end of that. And so I was glad they finally hashed it out. I'm glad that they, all bombarded him and was like, no, you're going to give us answers tonight. And that's that. I don't know that I believe that that's actually all of the accurate answers and there's not no more to it than that. But I will take that for now. That is definitely more than what we have been getting, this whole time since this started. Teddy ain't been giving us nothing but bull. And so, we continue with the party or whatever. They coming out of there. And, of course, they have all these pictures that they looked through and they found that's up. And, Miss Olivia's still out there talking about how they on CP time and this and that. And then, Miss Angela comes over to her like, oh, okay. Interrupts her and she was like, my mama always taught me that everyone has the potential to succeed. She said, of only given the opportunity. She said, y'all the 10 talented business kind of outdated and is, divisive. And she was like, what? I had an idea to blow up all these old pictures. And she was like, that was my idea. And she said, what I learned while doing it, Miss Olivia, okay? She was like, you missed the Talented 10 photo of 1984. You wasn't there. And so Olivia, she's like, what happened to you, Olivia, that night? So Olivia's giving the glass to some lady, Ruby, telling her to hold it, talking about, would you mind? And she was like, you was busy doing something else, huh? And so she was like putting crack in my mother's bag. And so she was arrested at 10:15, driving down the docks. So it's making sense to me now. Teddy didn't set her up. It was you. Okay? And so here come Olivia with her traveling behind. She talking about, you know what, Angela, since you leaving town anyway and all, we could get this settled. She says, and Angela was like, yes, please. She's like, yeah, I planted the drugs. She was like, your mother was a conniving, gold digging, social climbing home wrecker who crushed my best friend's, heart. And so this is why she felt like it was okay for her to sign up. She said she destroyed my one chance that I had at a business. And so she was like satisfied. And then Angela told her, oh yeah, girl, you have no idea. She said, now I can finally get justice for my mother. And she was like, justice? When the hell you gonna get justice? She was like, you got no proof. She said, oh, but I do. And she started playing back, the recording from her phone saying, I have every word. So here go Olivia snatching her phone out and going to stomp the damn phone and break the glass. And then Angela started laughing right in her damn face. She said, it's in the cloud, bitch. That tickled me. She was like, oh yeah, we finished now, And so then they go on, of course, with the ceremony and them bringing up the rose and them, pinning each rose on each person. And she brings up Angela too. And Angela did end up getting into the Gracie after all. And, they standing up there like all of the women and Leah and Angela together. And I thought that was really, really cute and nice. I like seeing that. And then they had a moment where Peggy actually went to the back and said to Teddy, like, I know you full of crap and I know you got your stuff with you. And I don't know if I believe everything that you said, okay, and neither do I, Peggy, I'm with you. She was like, I can tell you one thing that I do know because of what you did, in your own way to a certain degree, you did help me because I never used drugs again. So she was like, I thank you for that. And she was like, oh, wow, that didn't make me, choke or whatever to say thank you. And she was telling him he could still probably do stuff. She was like, I never known you to give up like that. You got 9 lives. And he gonna talk about, hopefully I got 9 more. And they come and tell him that the car was ready. But then there was like a funny look them two gave each other. I don't know what that was about. It was still something else happening. And then you had, Nate asking Nikki when she came in. And mind you, she's still upset from the party. He's like, well, where's your mom? We about to miss the ferry. And she was like, I don't know. She went to tell Tariq something. And so then you have her walking up behind Tariq. And, she all crying and looking upset. And Tariq turns to her and was like, well, thank you for coming to tell me no to my face. I appreciate that. And she was like, what are you talking about? What are you talking about? And she was like, I'm saying yes to Leah. And I was like, oh, okay, all right. And he was like, why are you crying then? And she was like, it's just a lot, And so then they kissed. I wasn't expecting that. I mean, hey, I was happy for her either way. They both look good. I ain't mad at it, girl. Whichever one you think is the best one. But I did feel like she was only going to be with Nate, I should say, because of Nikki. And if that was the only reason, then I didn't think it was a good idea. So I'm assuming she made the right choice. And then we see, Leah and Raymond kissing. And, she basically throwing stuff off the desk and, saying how they could get it in. They could try the desk. She's saying she got a new position that she's sure he gonna love. And then, she's like basically saying to him, the new chairman of Franklin and Holdings Endowment. And then he was like, nah. He was like, come on, that's supposed to be yours. And she told him she never really wanted it. She was doing it for her father. She never chose it for herself. He put her in that position. And then, she always just was following what he wanted. And she was like, she want to help grow something. So she said she's going into business with Angela East Crown. I'm like, okay, I didn't see this coming. She was like, this is going to be a whole new, different family business from the ground up. And you can focus on developing your new basketball team. And they could play at DuPont Stadium. And he was like, DuPont Stadium? He was like, wow, I like the sound of that. So I'm like, oh, this is cute. Like, I like it. I'm here for it. All right. So he says this calls for a toast, and he goes, to get some champagne, saying he gonna bring champagne back. Angela sit down in the chair, y'all, and she twirl around, and she all happy, putting her feet up on the desk. And all you hear is the door open and somebody walk in. I'm not understanding how Raymond ain't see them. And they shoot through the back of the chair and say Teddy Franklin. And freaking Leah is shot. And then they was gone. So they don't even see that they shot her and ain't damn Teddy. And that's how it ended, y'all. Like, I need season 2 now. I really, 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 really need it and want it. I hope that they give us one. This is why I don't like getting into shows sometimes and then you don't know if it's gonna be reviewed. But anyway, y'all, that was the review for for Our Kind of People. I'm sorry, I'm kind of tired right now. That was the review for Our Kind of People. I enjoyed it. Tell me what y'all thought about it. Are y'all hoping that we get a season 2 as well? What y'all think about the ending? Who the hell y'all think that could have been coming back to shoot him? Put it all in the comments, okay? I want to hear from you. Like, share, and subscribe. Till next time. Toodaloo.